say that the fronts came out looking very, very good. This fluorescent yellow looks pretty amazing. I never used it before. This is from an order that was outsourced to me. They provided the ink, so I'm using the ink that they provided, and I like it. I like the color combination. I like that little pattern that's inside of the Q. And now we need to get ready and set up for the back. So we have the 4 screens here ready to go. I don't know what this is. It looks like a ghost image, but it's not. I tried to get rid of it by leaving the haster sit on it for a really long time, several times, every time it comes around, and it just would not go away. So I don't know if the mesh is damaged, but the prints look good on it, so I'm not sure. But that screen is weird. Anyways, we're using the same colors, so all we're gonna do is take down the front, and then we're gonna set up for the back. It's gonna be kind of difficult for me to just kind of show you guys how to set up. It's basically the same thing as setting up for the manual. It's just that for this one you have air locks, you know, to lock everything, your squeegees, and you know, there's different functions for everything, like loosen up the screen. And then I always, whenever I print, because I want to keep my registration tight, I always go ahead and give it an extra push by locking in the front and the back side of the screen, just in case we lose some pressure with the air. Now we should be able to put this down. And just like that, you know, I put the screen down. I run my scraper right across the squeegee so nothing drips. And then my screen, when I load it in, it's not gonna get the frame dirty. Because like on the manual, I like to be pretty clean on the auto. And that's what we're gonna do. So we're gonna repeat that same process with all the other 4 screens for the back once we're done. And let me go ahead and set it up so I can show you guys what it looks like. And as soon as we get this approved, we're gonna knock these shirts out so that we can start working on the rest of the orders. I know I talked about them yesterday. We had a couple more that came in, so we gotta keep moving. For the automatic screens, when I tape, it's basically the same thing that I do on the manuals. So I go long ways and I put my first one midway in the screen and the other on the frame. So that way we block the ink from coming down. And then the second strip, I like to put it right over that one, laying nice and flat. Just like that. That way when I peel it off, we only have ink in like this little small area. It's easier to reclaim. It's a way to keep your screen cleaner on all edges. I would say the screen looks pretty brand new, and we already used it a couple of times. So if you care to take care of your screens and also to keep them clean when you reclaim, just make sure you tape the right way. Also, another thing, by taping this way, you're gonna have better chances of not ruining your t-shirts, because the ink is gonna leak. The ink is not gonna leak through the sides if you tape all the way from the top to the bottom, and then from the top of the frame into the screen and out into the design. So check this out, we got like this much space that's taped off, and even if the edge of the squeegee starts to break through the emulsion, you know, we have tape covering that, so it's just like extra security, you know, if you care. I will show you how I swap my screens, and this is what I do just to keep my screens clean. So just like that, we don't get the screen dirty. Lock it in. And just like that, we have the first screen ready to go. We're gonna do the same with all 4. Just like we set up on the manual, we're gonna make sure that this is nice and straight and centered. We're gonna put our pel on, print a sample, put tape over it, go ahead and line up the rest of the jobs, and it's gonna look something like this, which is what I did yesterday for the approval of the front. All right, so let me show you guys. That is our base, and I already took down the rest of the screens. I set up the rest of the back of the screens. So those are the new ones. These are the two that I brought down. So like I did on the base, you know, once I print my first sample, I'm gonna adjust the distance with the proximity switch that's back here. So once the head comes forward, I'm just gonna unlock it and move it back. Otherwise, I have to let the air out of the machine in order to move the proximity switches, and I just kind of do it as I'm going, so it works out for me. This ink is kind of runny, so I can't leave it like this, like the other ones. It's just gonna drip down and make a mess. And I like to keep my screens as clean as possible, especially when I have something on the backside. Steps real quick one more time. We set up the base, we print it on the pylon, we put tape on the pylon, and when I lock my screens on the auto, I always like to make sure that I have a good grip here on the front and as well on the back all the way through. I don't like this hanging off, because you can adjust this arm to move back a little bit more if you need to, like if you have a bigger screen or a smaller screen. And now that we got that figured out, we got tape on there, we set up the outline of the design, and then I got it lined up, I put tape over it, and I'm gonna use this outline as a guide for the two colors that go inside. And the reason why, it's because these two colors, they kind of, you know, they meet each other. They kind of meet each other, and with that outline, it gives me a good base to whether I know if it's too high or too low. I do have the registration marks to help me out as well, but having that outline already marked on the screen or marked on the pylon is going to help me set up much faster. So we're going to bring it over to where we have the colors, and once we put them on there, print a sample, then we should be good to go to get approval and get them going. Now that we have that outline, we have a good base, you know, to find out whether we're inside of the outline or not. Because otherwise, if we don't have that outline, we can be setting up a little bit too far out, too far in, too far down, or too far up. But now we know exactly where we need to stay inside of. So once we figure out that it's nice and straight from the bottom all the way to the top, we'll lock it in, print the sample, make sure it's nice and straight, print the second one, make sure that they both line up inside, and print a t-shirt. All right, we got both screens set up with ink in them. Took the ink off of those screens. Now let's go ahead and turn on the heads. We're working with head number 4 and 5. We're just gonna do a single stroke. So if you hit the button up, it's single. If you bring it down, it's double. And for this, we're gonna need one of these little rags. And I'll show you guys how close we are from nailing it. Oh, no, no, no. Gotta move this back. No. Oh, well. Oh man, that's really good. That's almost spot on right there. I'm not even gonna mess with it. It could come up just a little bit, but because we're printing the neon outline at the end, is gonna cover that little bit that's coming off from the gold. So what I do is I just wipe off the registration marks, and then I go ahead and tape over this, and then we're gonna print the purple on top of that one to make sure we're lined up. A lot of you guys still have the question if I dry this. I don't dry it because it's gonna shrink the pylon and the tape now that we have tape over it. Let's go ahead and bring it inside and print the purple now. Okay, this one looks, it looks like it could come down just a hair. So we're gonna bring it down just a hair. Wipe this off. We just got done, finished setting up the 4-color back for this outsourced job that we got. I show you guys the process of how I do it to set up on the automatic. I really hope that you guys learned something if you guys have an automatic at your shop. This process that I just showed you has helped me set up so much faster over time. And the way I am, I like to figure out anything that I can do to make my life easier. And after I found out this system that I kind of like came up with on my own throughout my years of experience, besides this, the next step would be tri-lock, which is, you know, something else that I'm gonna look into getting in the future, but not right now. This is efficient enough for me, it's fast enough for me, and it almost never gives me any trouble. So, thank you guys for watching. I hope that you guys learned something interesting today. We have that 4-color setup on the automatic. And for this job, we're gonna go base, flash, we're gonna drop the gold, flash, we're gonna hit the neon, we're gonna come back around a second time, we're gonna flash it, drop the gold, flash it, and then the neon. The reason why I'm going around twice is because I have the base on a 230, and I don't want the ink to be heavy on the shirt. So, because I have it on a 230, this bright yellow would not pop if I didn't hit it twice. And it's amazing how soft of a print it is, being such a big design. Okay, and if you just follow the steps that I showed you, you're gonna learn how to be clean with your machine and how to be clean with your setups throughout time. So subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Give it a like if you like what you saw today. Go ahead and comment, ask me any questions about the automatic. I haven't really posted a whole lot because I haven't been printing a whole lot on the auto, but I would like to help you guys out if you have any questions. You know, sometimes I know how to figure out some of the alarms that the machine gives you. You guys know that I already got it up and running with almost no air leaks, thanks to some of my friends. And that's kind of what we're here for. So share this video if you think it's gonna help somebody, and don't forget to subscribe. Oh yeah, one last thing before I let you guys go. I don't like to print the registration mark on the t-shirts that I'm printing for my clients. So what I do is, once I set up my sample, I go around the entire machine, I tape off all my registration marks, and then I print like a rag t-shirt to make sure that I didn't leave any behind, and to make sure that I get all the pinholes if I have any. Most of the time there's only like 1 or 2, and that's how I make sure that I don't print any pinholes or registration marks on my prints once I'm approved. The rag t-shirt looks really good. The sample got approved. We're good to go.